afternoon, and after a brief week little break, we're back with Sketchbook Sundays, episode 7. Whoa. And this time we are going to be working the sketchbook long ways portrait. So instead of it being like this, which we have been doing, it's going to be like this. So you need to make sure you've got a nice double page spread. You will also need a few rocks, pebbles to look at, doesn't matter what size, it's just for your observation. Some kind of paints, watercolours, poster paints, anything that's nice and sort of bright and you can spatter, because we're going to do some spattering. And so an old toothbrush, old brush that you can flick and make nice spattery marks. And also some oil pastels. If you don't have oil pastels, ordinary pastels will also do, or chalks. But the advantage of oil pastels is they don't smudge too much and sort of become cloud-like. We want it quite crisp. You also need a pair of scissors and some scrap paper. Shall we start? Okay, so what we're going to be doing this week is we're going to be creating a nice tall rock tower. And that's where you might have seen pictures of these where people balance rocks on top of one another to create a nice tower. What we're going to be doing, I'm just going to move the rocks now to one side, is to create that tower. Gosh, so much in our sketchbooks now. Woo!
That's the middle page.
Oh, I know. It's pretty cool, isn't it? To create that tower, and this is where you may need an adult's help, first of all you need to create some shapes of your rocks. Now, the best way I've kind of found this is with your scrap paper, you fold it in half, and with a pair of scissors, very carefully cut a slit in it. And that slit makes a nice hole. You can then insert the scissors and cut out a rock shape. Looking at the rocks in front of you, we've got some very nice smooth ones, so ours are all quite smooth. And you kind of want one rock per piece of paper, because, if I just finish this one, when you lay it down on your sketchbook, it gives you a nice mask. So if you do splattering, the splatters don't go anywhere else apart from in your rock shape. So that's number one. What shape should I do next? Should I do
the smallest one?
The smallest one, like this one here.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually a fossil, isn't it? There'll be some nice shapes in there for us too. So a small one, and it's got a sort of straight side like that. There we go. Number two. Do you want to make a pile of those to the sides or at the top? Yeah. And then we can. And don't forget, if you've got some quite small pebbles, you could probably get away with 2 on the same sheet, what I'm going to do here, for some small round ones. They're always useful in your towers to kind of stabilise them. Sometimes you can get nice slim long pebbles, that's what this one's going to be. Okay, there's another one. And shall I do one last big one? What do you think?
The biggest you have any found.
Which one's that then? That one there. Let's put our rocks up here so we can have a look at them in the light. And our fossil, the biggest. And again, these shapes are approximate. They're not, I am using the stones for inspiration. As I say, ours are all quite smooth. Obviously, you might have pebbles with sharp edges and things like that. So just do the best you can at cutting out a nice shape for the mask. I'm just going to move our pebble. Stone. Now what we need to do is start building our tower. Now I'm going to use the biggest pebble or rock at the bottom for stability. You can use this one after me if you want.
No?
No? Okay.
I'm using a flat one.
Oh, sensible. Nice flat base. With the oil pastels, if I put them there, we can both share them. Now I'm doing that rock. Mine's kind of a grey-green. Now you need to kind of get it, warm it up and get it on your finger. You can see I'm kind of rubbing some on my finger. Hold your mask down in place and then using your finger, rub up against the mask. Now I'm still holding my mask down in place, this is just to show the camera. You can see it gives it a really nice crisp edge. If you can't hold your mask down in place and do the rubbing, you can always tape it. lightly to your sketchbook. And it's about looking at the rock in front of you and seeing the colours you have and rubbing up to that edge. Try not to rub that way to the edge because your edge will flick up. If you go with the shape of the edge, so curve it round, really work it with your finger and look at that rock and see the different sort of patterns and colours. And my one in front of me has got quite a few sort of holes and pock marks, which I'm actually going to add with some spattering. I'm just going to go in with a light brown there. Oh, that's a nice one. I've got a few light brown marks. Awesome! Are you going to keep building?
No. Spattering time.
Oh, if you're doing spattering, you need your mask back on, don't you? Oh, hang on. There you go. Got the water over there. So the spattering is as simple as getting your paints and putting it on your old toothbrush, or here you go, use a rock to hold your mask in place. There you go. Can I just make a suggestion so we don't spatter the whole of your sketchbook? Why don't we put this also up here? Yeah? So we protect. There you go. So we protect the rest of your sketchbook. There you go. Now I've got some quite dark areas on my one, so I'm going to just add a few dark sections and actually a few direct pockledy bits. I don't quite know if that's a word. What do you think? Do you think it's a word? That's it, make it nice and dry when you're spattering. And pale colours like yellow might not always show up. And when the spattering, you're trying to spatter, you're not wanting to necessarily get the whole area wet because our paper isn't designed to absorb lots of amounts of water. And also the water will seep under the edge of your mask and make a sort of squelch. So it is just very dry paint spattering. Oh yeah! That's awesome! I'm going to do some spattering. Could I just stretch over? You're going to lift yours away first of all. Let's see. Yes! Nice! I'm going to take this very dark blue here. Do you mind if I just mix it with a colour here? Mm-hmm. Is that okay? That red, because I want some spatters in here, in this white section. Shall we have a look? Have a look at mine as well. Yours looks amazing. I like your nice flat base. You've really thought about your tower. Ta-da! Look at our first rocks.
That's so big.
Mine's very big. Okay, so next you need to choose your next rock. I think I'm going to go with the fossil and start building up your tower all the way till you get to the top. Now with this fossil, oh my goodness, how do I balance it? Because we've got a nice straight edge. I'm going to actually balance it. I think it's going to be weighted like that, then I'm going to add another one. Now the fossil is actually quite yellow, so I'm going to use this yellow oil pastel to really give it its yellowy hint. And then I'm going to draw in the actual fossil marks. They're very faint. It's a little fossilised sea urchin, which is pretty cool, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Which one are you doing?
I'm just making mine.
You're making all yours up. Should we put them to the middle?
This one's going to be blue.
Mine's a lovely sort of beigey red, all these marks. And it's got quite a few cracks in it, so I'm going to do that. I want a dark, or am I looking a dark brown? There. It's got a dark, oh, nice mask has just moved. There. Got a dark section along here. There we go. The advantage of the oil pastels, you can really smear them with your finger. It's good fun, isn't it? Now I've got this line here of, I'm going to do it darker, of where it was a fossil. It's the sea urchin dots. And also I've got quite a few cracks on mine, so I'm just thinking how I'm going to emulate those. I think I have a plan. Could I borrow the paintbrush, please?
Yep.
Thank you. just going to drag my paintbrush across like this, and actually the oil pastel will resist the watercolour. I'm not covering the whole thing in watercolour because, as I say, my paper is not designed to do that, but a little bit is okay. We're now going to carry on and we'll catch up with you in a second. And there we have it. I've completed my tower here. I've built up from my big stone at the bottom with all those lovely spots, and then there's the fossil. And you're still doing yours, aren't you? Next to me. You've got some, can we just show the camera? Some wonderful spattering going on here. And I like this one. It looks like it's got tiny little bits of moss growing on it. Where the spattering went a bit under. Absolutely beautiful. I've got a giant blue one. And you can see how you can have real fun and also trying to get the balance right. I have a feeling if I actually built this tower, mine might topple a bit over this way because I've got this giant rock here. I think yours will be a lot more stable than mine. But I have put a few little ones in to help keep it all upright. So yeah, have fun building your towers. And you can always cut different shaped masks if you feel the need to halfway through. And don't worry about the middle either. Just work over it and work with it. And have fun spattering and creating all those rocks. And we shall see you next week.